Now, Maria, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Stu. It's a pleasure to be with you and to let the truth be known, because not many have the courage you have to make that happen. And we're very, very grateful.
You gave your findings, your evidence to Mike Pompeo and to General Mike Flynn. Is that true?
Actually, I gave it to Mike Flynn for many, many weeks, talking directly to him, talking to Lin Wood and Sidney Powell. And I can tell you, Mike Flynn called me the day I was flying up when Lin Wood's plane was tampered with, was the day I was supposed to be flying in. And Mike told me while I was changing planes in Atlanta at 8:30 in the morning to abort that something came up and I needed to not make that connection into Charleston where they were going to pick me up.
So it's safe to say that he didn't ignore your evidence, but that he was concerned for your safety?
No, he actually, quite shockingly, he and Patrick Byrne did everything to prevent us from getting the truth out.
Why did General Michael Flynn ignore it? Why did Mike Pompeo ignore it? Why did Patrick Byrne, who's irrelevant and crazy, why did he ignore it?
So it's not that they ignored it. It's far worse than that, far more nefarious. Stu, they actually participated in covering it up and blocking us.
Why?
They made sure we didn't get the fund. There is an apparatus called the shadow government, and you were kind enough to actually expose that. And Mike Flynn, immediately when I asked that you interview Philippe Argelier, that same day, he knew we were planning to be on your show. That same effort, he quickly jumped on Tucker, General Flynn, and he said, there's a shadow government. Well, where the heck has he been for the decades he has served in the military and been a Barack Obama appointee? And he never talked about the shadow government. He never named names. He didn't go on Tucker and say, and we know exactly who they are. And we know the U.S. citizens that are involved, and we know how they weaponize the United States government. He is hiding all of that, and they are not answering the questions Americans deserve.
Specifically, are you alleging about General Michael Flynn?
Oh, I can tell you absolutely that he's part of the military-industrial complex. He is doing PSYOPs, and I can tell you that there is this whole Q thing that's out there that he and others have been involved in putting messages that totally are not true.
Do you have any evidence to substantiate those claims? That's pretty heavy.
Yeah, it is. It is heavy. And I'm happy to, one, give a polygraph anytime. You know, we're going to have a convention July 4th weekend, and I'm going to ask for people to bring their polygraph machines, and I'll go first, and I invite them in to do the same. I can guarantee you that I have emails and I have text messages with them. I know exactly what took place and my personal involvement in trying to work with them. And I am the one who told him to call SecDef. When he goes, well, how do I even know this is true? Kind of real flippant. And I said, well, sir, I don't lie. Call SecDef. I said, you know, Chris Miller, call him yourself, because guess what? He knows. And the shock on the phone when he found out, because Donald Trump didn't know everything Michael Flynn had kept from him. Flynn told me he would take me to him. He never did. He kept the information for weeks, the most crucial weeks, Stu, from November through December. And it wasn't until December 24th when I told Donald himself and I handed him the letter, who did it? Leonardo, in the Italian Finmeccanica, now Leonardo facility, SPA. The satellite Galileo was used, and Stefano Serafini on the second floor of our U.S. Rome embassy was involved. We presented the videos and pictures of the people who were involved at the conference, and we will be posting those to our new website shortly.
So is it possible that, and pushing back here, I'm not making any specific allegations, sure, Maria, but is it possible that General Flynn or Patrick Byrne or Mike Pompeo just said, this Maria Zack woman is crazy. She's completely nuts. This is insanity.
Oh, bring it on. Number one, I have 30 years in government affairs, so I know how the bodies are buried. I know where they are, and I know this process very, very well. That's number one. Number two, I don't fear them. I have God every step of the way, and doors have opened and information has been given to us from the Italian intelligence services. And we've received new information about Flynn and about Mike Pompeo that honestly is quite disconcerting. If they both weren't trying to run for president right now.
You said if they weren't both running for president, are you saying that Mike Pompeo and General Michael Flynn are running for president?
Absolutely. They have built the apparatuses that got the people in place and they are building those infrastructures. They're on literally the tour where you go into Iowa, you go into New Hampshire, you start speaking in the swing states. Mike Pompeo actually was just on a show in New Hampshire. I can tell you General Mike Flynn has selected not election theft states. He has selected what you pick in the early primary states. He picked Virginia. He's got staff across America that he is growing under a false pretense, and it's to run for president, and I've had it validated by his friends.
Do you think that General Flynn and Mike Pompeo are in on this?
I totally believe they know things that are substantial, and I would be shocked to find out that they aren't in on it. We were receiving intercepts that they were going to tamper with Donald Trump's plane. The intercept came in 3 weeks prior to the North Carolina trip to the GOP. President Trump doesn't want it out, and I'm sorry, I believe America needs to know. They are trying to take him down long before the campaign. They are setting up their apparatuses to run. It is despicable. Donald Trump is our commander-in-chief. I'm not crazy. I know exactly what happened, and everybody should watch that Kansas testimony because they will be shocked as well.
You mean to tell me that this guy that's wandering around at the White House that can't even get the attention of former President Barack Obama is not our president? Do you mean to tell me that this guy that walked down the steps just before he was elected by 81 million people, we are told, look at this, walking down these steps, a circle full of 13 people here, probably all of them work for the campaign. I don't know if they're trying to summons the mothership here or what, but all these people expect us to believe this. And now the same people that are telling us to believe that Donald Trump lost and that Arizona, they called it Fox News, want us to believe that Putin is the bad guy, and they're talking about regime changes and nuclear war and putting boots on the ground and going after him and taking him out of power because he could be potentially the only guy standing between this new world order, whatever it is, and freedom or democracy of any kind anywhere in this entire world. Do you agree with that?
They falsified the entire process. They've hijacked and weaponized not just our media, but also every government department. They use U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund to these entities. And we now know the name Mike Green in the White House, who is part of the shadow government upper echelon of management, along with the lobby law firms where they're helping move the pallets of cash. And I am responsible for giving John Durham the information on the 14 pallets of cash, $400 million that came from the Finanza Guardia in Italy, that they were stealing the money through, I might add, Mike Pompeo's CIA, who were at the, he had a 40-year-old guy, CIA agent, in Dubai, letting the Dubai Sheikh land his helicopter on our U.S. facility, which requires CIA approval. So let's just talk about this. This is, how was it funded? How was Russia collusion funded? All of it through Italy. Matteo Renzi and a bunch of Italians were over in Dubai in our embassy. We need to FOIA that. We need them to come clean. Mike Pompeo has to know. He promoted Gina Haspel. He had Donald Trump's ear and was giving the worst advice possible.
You're saying a lot of things, Maria. You're dropping a lot of bombs. Where's the evidence of all of this?
I have decks and decks of documents.
Well, you said that it's time for the world to know. So are you ready to release that?
I am. And I want Mike Pompeo to answer the question, why did he keep all the seventh floor staff when he was told, just as he was being put in, to annihilate and take out the seventh floor? He never did it. I know the CIA agent who told him to do it, and I know why he told him to do it. We know that the U.S. Embassy was used with Stefano Serafini, who's in hiding, who's a U.S. citizen out of McLean, Virginia. We know that Leonardo received billions of dollars. That's open record. We have everything footnoted with the budget in the United States. We know that they closed the U.S. Embassy of the Vatican. I called Newt personally. He was in the Rome Embassy, even though Callista was ambassador. I know them personally. I called him for help, and thank God he was giving me advice. I know they were.
Why Italy? What's their motivation? Why? What's the stake for them?
Well, I think there were many places used, but the weaponization of government, to have an embassy. And oh, by the way, I might add, the U.S. ambassador to Italy during the time was Louis Eisenberg. He was also in 2001, September 11th of 2001, the head of the New York, New Jersey Port Authority. So the other question Mike Pompeo needs to answer is, why was he selected at this time to be the ambassador to Italy from the United States? Pretty shocking, huh? That's all public record.
So all of these other theories, China involvement, paper ballots, ballot harvesting, manipulation from the internet connected machines here in the United States, military involvement, all of these things, to those theories about the 2020 election that we know was fraudulent and stolen, what do you say to those theories?
I think they used the buckshot approach. They used every angle they could take. Our team in Georgia and in other states have done God's work. They have been loyal foot soldiers, and they saw the machines online. There are pictures of them online. We know from DNI Radcliffe's report that came out January 19th of 2021, the day before the inauguration, that China interfered. So the relationship of Leonardo's upper echelon, specifically one individual, he's tied directly to China, Iran, and Qatar.
So what is the purpose? What is the end goal for guys like Mike Pompeo and General Flynn? If what you're saying is true, why are they trying to sabotage President Trump and take down the United States? Apparently, I mean, that's what you're alleging, right?
Stu, it's that America's already been taken down. This loss of the presidential election and then the U.S. Senate seats in Georgia, that was the final straw of taking down America. They've already weaponized government. We're under a plutocracy. We are not under a republic. Mike Pompeo in particular, look where he gets his money and look at the billionaires that fund everything. When you start looking at the billionaires, you understand why Joe Biden said in his press conference that he and Xi Jinping had a discussion that it's far easier to have a plutocracy because you only have to deal with a few people, the billionaires, versus the people. And that is what has occurred in America.
So who's in charge right now? A Marxist coup took place in this country when the real insurrection occurred on November 3rd of 2020, not on January 6th. Who is? Do the people that are supposedly, allegedly being told to the populace that are in charge, do they even know who's in power right now? Who's in power?
It's the shadow government, and the same people have been embedded in the White House.
Is this Philippe Argillier ready to tell us who these names are of the people that are in the shadow government? Who are they? Who's running this world?
He has named Soros, Bezos, Bloomberg, Buffett, Charlie Munger, one of Buffett's CFOs, and then he's also named, I'm missing someone, Soros, Bezos, Buffett, Gates, and he's named that the Gates Foundation was the first one to use the African.
These names have been thrown around as people who are in power already. Everybody kind of assumes that they know that to be true. Where's the evidence of all this?
He's going to come forward from what he tells me, and he wants to explain to you and the world how the platforms are used in Africa, how he was the person asked in 6 years ago to run the whole.
Explaining is great, but the evidence, I want receipts. I want to know, where is the proof of all of these things?
He wants you to come to France and see the documents, and he will walk you through completely how the system works and how the whole infrastructure started. And it's frightening what he is alleging. I have seen a few of the documents. You exposed that one of the big pieces, which I think a lot of people didn't really understand the big significance of the Dalai Lama papers. But when you have a lobby law firm claiming to be the United States government's law firm, and also China's, and also Tibet's, and none of it was true, that they were not. They were the shadow government's lawyers at a top DC law firm. That's very troubling.
Yeah. I'm out of time here. Where can people go? You're ready to drop this evidence. You said the world needs to see it. You know where the bodies are buried. Where can people go to find what you're going to drop? And when are you going to expose all of this stuff?
Probably about a week. We're putting up the new website. We've got so much that we're still trying to pull together, but it's nationsinaction.org. And then at our conference, July 1st through the 4th in Atlanta, Georgia, we are going to blow the lid off.
You're not charging people to get into the conference?
We'll probably cover their meals and just whatever the printing is, something, whatever.
People are just nervous about grifts. You know what I mean? Charge a bunch of money, get in here, make the world great again, whatever, buy my product, everything will be.
Yeah, if someone can donate a place and food, we won't charge.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Maria
Unfortunately,
Zak, you're a brave individual.
Everyone else was raising the money and taking the money. They never sent us the money, just FYI.
You're either very brave or incredibly crazy. And a lot of people say the same things about me as well. So I think I know which one it is. Maria Zak, thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, Stu.